Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. We're on what I hope is going to be the last installment on this quality piece of Poulan mower. Um, we're going to work on the tires today. We got obvious tire problems, and the owner had told me just go ahead and swap them yellow ones on here from the parts mower. So I'm going to see if these will come off and go from there. If these wheels will come off, that will not be a hard job. If they resist, it could be a nightmare. I might, in fact, end up putting tubes on the tires while they're still on the mower. Put tubes in the on the rims. They're not an easy thing. I can do it, but I don't like it. So let's first see if we can just get those off. Let me get you set up in the stand, and I'll try to run you through how this is done in case you've never taken one off before. All right. Well, hopefully you can see. The basic idea is this. There's a little C-clip here holding a couple of washers. That's what keeps the wheel from sliding off. These are keyed. They've got a little, kind of like you'd find on a pulley or something else. There's a little key in there to keep them from just spinning on the shaft. And basically, you crowbar that thing off, little C-clip, take off them washers, and then if you're supremely lucky, you can wiggle this thing around and get it off. And we're not quite that lucky. Here's the key right here. I don't know that you can see that, but I think you can. But basically, it looks like maybe a 1/4-inch key. So she's on there. Hey, oh, I thought I saw it wiggle, though. I'm feeling some kind of wiggle. Maybe. Me start. You can't put a gear puller on here or anything, so you're not going to just crank in on that. Sometimes you can use a air hammer, peck that off. But let's see if we can do it with a regular hammer first. Just a little tappy tap and see if she'll budge. I'd kind of like to. I wish I had a heavy mallet. I've got a hard mallet that's little, and I got a big rubber mallet, and I've got a little sledgehammer that's 1 pound maybe. Got several things I can try, but I want to be gentle with this because you don't want to expand this at all. If you start beating this and hitting the edges and spread this out, it's never coming off till you grind that back down at least. This is very rusty, I see. So probably put a little bit of penetrating oil in there. Torch is, again, not the best plan unless that tire's off. And then it's not a very good plan because if we get this very hot, there's a seal where this shaft goes into the transmission. You'll melt. Then you'll have the leak of all leaks. So let's try tapping on it first, see if we can break it loose and maybe just a little bit of break free. Well, we're making progress. I'm pulling on this tire with my feet, which is not ideal. And then I got a hammer and a punch. I first took the handle of the hammer, pulled on the tire, and just tapped it until it got in flush. And now I'm just pulling on it and hitting it. And it's going. So we're getting lucky on this one. Somewhat lucky it's going to be. And because this is keeping me more or less centered, this is flat on the end, it can't get on the edges and swell it. So this punch is pretty ideal for this job at the moment. Pulling on it with my legs is going to give me a cramp. I don't know how much more it's got, but it can't be much. That's feeling like it's about off now. All right. There it is. And it's off. As you can see, what was stopping... Oh, there's some nastiness there. As you can see, what was stopping is that rust. There's the key. It's stuck in that shaft here on the bottom. And turn that where you can see it. There it is. The key goes right in there. And that's what spins the wheel. It's notched out for that key. That's one. I'll do the other one and I'll bring you back. Well, here's cause for concern. This one don't have a C-clip. It makes me wonder if somebody didn't try to take this wheel off and fail, because those C-clips don't really have a lot of strain on them. No washers, no C-clip. That's going to be an issue. I hope it doesn't mean that somebody's already tried and failed to take this wheel off. That could be a problem. But I'll get my tools and get medieval with it and see what happens. Well, I would have loved to have shown you a big long video of how difficult that pair of wheels was to take off the parts mower, but the reality is they just fell off. I wire brushed the shafts a little, get the rust off, and I went and scrounged up a C-clip. Now, this is what the original ones look like. This is a Harbor Freight, came out of the big box of multiple C-clips. And if we line them up carefully, that is the one that fits it. So luckily, I had that big old box of variety C-clips, and it's got many of these in it, so that's going to hold me for a while. It was worth what I paid for the whole box, just for the ones that fit, because I got about 20 of them. All right, so the next trick is to put that on. Now that's not hard. Let me get down here where I can show you. What you do is you get a pair of slip lock pliers of some kind, a regular 2-position pair of standard pliers that you have to jiggle around and open to the next fitting will probably fit it. But what I'm going to do is get the new one, not the old used one. So I'm going to slip this in here like so. Now there's a notch there all the way around in this shaft that this C-clip snaps onto. I put this little pin here where the key is, but you don't have to, because it's going to hold it unless you were opposite, and I think it'll still hold it, honestly. I've never had that just fall out, but I always put that little notch in this keyhole just to ensure it couldn't fall out. Now, I didn't open him big enough yet. Well, I did, but this is better. And you get a hold of the shaft with one side and the clip with the other, keeping those washers out of your way, because if you're squeezing on the washer, you ain't going nowhere. And that's not easy because you're pushing on from the other side. Okay, and then once you're on there, just give it a little squeeze, and it'll just start slipping on there, and then boom, all at once, it drops right on. Now, let me push on it, make sure it's in. Yeah, it's in now, and see, it'll move all the way around. It just goes round and round. Well, anyway, and that notch is right there. And that pin don't fit in it anyway, so it ain't gonna matter. Now, you're supposed to have a rubber dust cup on this. That mower back there had one. Probably not worth it to carry that one around here and put on one wheel. Then you got to pick which wheel. So next thing we got to do, put a little air in these tires, because even though they're holding air, they've probably been derelict for a long time. So how much air do you put in? Well, the tire itself says like 5, maybe no more than 10, something like that. Now, this is where me and the factory disagree. Let's see, here's where it says on the tire, inflate to 10. Well, 10 is not very much air. I put about 15. That's not that much more air. There's 10, and even that ain't easy. There's 12. Let's go with 12. 12's good. Seems good and solid. You don't want to go crazy. You don't go ape. You want to put 20 psi in it. Maybe when you're seating the beads, it'll say on it how far you can go seating the beads, but that's 12. That's enough. I'll air up the other tire. While I got the compressor here, noisy as it is, I'll plug it back in. It's going to roar, so I'm just going to turn the camera off for that. I'm going to air up the other tires. And we've got one thing left to do on this mower, and that's the deck. Need the blade sharpened. I've already checked the pulleys. They seem pretty good. So if I can get them blades sharpened and get that deck on this mower, which is going to take some keys, and they ain't all here, we'll be done. This thing should mow. All right, well, let me air up some tires and go around and get that deck, and we'll start seeing what we can do with it. All right, we are going to sharpen some mower blades. Joy, joy. This is one of my least favorite things to do. That cardboard out of here. So basically, these blades are positively hideous. They are really, really, really dull. I probably should get my tape measure. Oh, kind of look at them. See, yeah, there's a center. Okay, so it looks like right at 6 inches. What I'm looking for is where they started and stopped the sharpening last time they did this. Now you might think this won't be too even, but it'll be even enough. Okay. This set of holes, at least on this blade, is dead square at the top. And then these two, so if I measure here and here, it's the exact same from center, which is what you're looking for to keep your balance. And we got one more tool we're going to need over here, and that is the blade balancer. This little feller. We get to him in a minute. All right, so to start with, we look at them. It isn't that they're dinged up, it's that they haven't been sharpened in 150 years or so. They got a few little dings, not major ones. I've seen worse. And they're getting a little narrow there. They'll go another round, but I don't know if I'd go two. So, I'm going to take this blade, open this vise up, set this in here. I'm going to clamp him where she'll stay still. It appears to have it. I'm going to turn. That's going to be fun. It goes this way. That's pretty tight. All right, turn this a little. About like so, probably. Let's get you centered where you can see what's going on here. I'm hoping that's good. I'm giving it my best guess. Anyway, that's in there good and tight. We just need to tighten one of these. Well, I tighten them both. It ain't going nowhere. And we get the hand grinder. You're looking to replicate the angle that's already on there. The last guy really didn't. And there may not be enough blade to do it, but we're going to try. I didn't get that wedged in there good. A lot of people would edit something like that out, but I'm not one of them. I got to find a place that I can squish it. I don't want to overkill it, but okay, it ain't going nowhere. Try that again. We're not going crazy on these because these blades are about trash. We're just sharpening up what we got. Now, occasionally, when you're doing this, you want to take it out and look, see if you're even making progress. And we are. That's not far. A little more probably be good enough. All right. Just gonna slide it in the long way. Okay. Ooh, hot. Not that hot though. That's close enough. That's got the biggest dings out of it. Now we're going to turn this around. Do the exact same thing on this side. At roughly the same angle. It don't have to be perfect. This ain't SpaceX. Just got to be good enough. And with this old mower, hard to say how much life it's really got left in it anyway. And here we go. Let's see where we're at. Now, unfortunately, when you got this many dings in them, you sharpen it too far, you get too thin up here. So what you have to do is put a little touch on the other side when it comes around time to balance it. This is pretty good. This is, pretty good is not the word I'd use, but it's okay. It's serviceable. We'll call it serviceable. Now what I need is a lot of room right in the front here. There's only one direction this thing's level, which means I got to move all this junk left over from working out here in the winter. All right. Get this blade centered up on this thing. And we see, pick you up and bring you over. Here's your problem. If you look at this, that should be about there. But it's not. It is listing off the starboard pad. Bring it back up and let go, same thing. So, and we check triple that it's centered. Well, it ain't perfect. Okay, now it's centered. It's still just a little bit heavy on that side, I'd say. Happens if I push it all the way that way. Still heavy on that side. So it's definitely heavy on that side. So, what does that mean? That means you get your magic marker so you don't forget what you're doing. Put a little mark on it so that you know which side needs to lose weight. Then you stick it in here and put it on a diet. We're going to take just a little more. This is the side has that big ding in it that I said wasn't that great. Well, that's fine. We take a little more, maybe it'll get greater. Make this blade great again. you'd think I just took an awful lot of metal off of that blade. And in reality, I probably did. But is it enough? Probably not. I usually got to do this a couple of times to get it about right. All right, move this grinder over a little bit. Put this centered back up here as much as we can, considering. Oop. Now look at her. That's more like it. That's pretty close. We're going to call that good. That's what we're shooting for. I got lucky. Well, I've done this so many times, luck may or may not be a factor. But whatever the case, I'm going to do the other one here in a minute. No need to see it twice, probably. And then we got a little problem with the deck we're going to have to sort out, turns out. All right, we got the blades all sharpened. Let me show you the problem I was talking about. Let me find a blade here. Now, if you look down here at this one, the blade will drop right on there, solid. These little teeth stick up. This one up here, it just ain't gonna do that. And the reason is, oh wait, it did. I gotta dig some stuff out. All right, well this, if you see the shiny spots right on top here, this blade goes this way. If you look, it's got shiny spots on it too. That's where this blade was in the track and jumped out and got up on top. And that's a bad, bad thing that you don't want to happen. Well, honestly, it's not going in there. Now, let me get you set up and stand where I got two hands. Okay, so there's a couple of things you can try with this. The first one you can try is, since this one's really close, you figure out where it's a little expanded and just hit it with a hammer gently. And there it went, it's on. Yeah, so we'll be okay on this one. If it hadn't have been, we would have used the air hammer. And what we would have done was hit those teeth on this spindle, not on the blade, but on the spindle with the air hammer and just pecked them back where they might get a little longer this way, but it would take that rolled edge off of them and stand them straight back up. You'll find a lot of mower repair places will tell you you need a new spindle when that happens, but it'd have to be sheared completely off before that'd be true. And those are not. So, we're going to put them blades back on if we can keep track of that socket. Ain't too much to this. This is my Harbor Freight electric impact. This is what I had when I didn't have air. And frankly, it saved me a lot of work. There's one thing I notice here looking at this, and that is that blade's on upside down. Let me just unscrew that. Take that blade off. Try to put it back on. I might better hit it with the hammer again to be sure. Just a little, you don't have to mutilate it. If it don't go easy, there it is. Yeah, if it don't go easy, something's wrong. And that went pretty easy. All right. No great trick to this. Screw these in as far as you can by hand so that you stay engaged in those teeth, because you want that blade to be in those teeth. Then you get your impact on there and it's unplugged. Yeah, we're having a day today. You'll plug that in. When I put the walls up in this shop and put electric in it, I thought I had enough plug-ins. I didn't. Then I put those expanders where you got like 6 plugs in one. Then I thought I had enough plug-ins. Almost do. Nothing in there draws a lot of current. Well, a couple of things do, but they're on separate circuits. There's just so many lights and things. All right. Now you just give it one good ugga chugga. Maybe two. Call it good. That one's done. I'll put the other blade on, and then we'll take this quality piece of merchandise around front, put it on the lawnmower. All right, I got the deck back around here. Let's see what we can do about these. Oh, so quiet. Oh, I'm not used to this. That one's quiet too. Let's see about these things. Good. Okay, all the pulleys are good. So that leaves us with this engagement mechanism, which appears to be garbage. That piece is wore out. This is not supposed to be worn like that. This seems okay. So there's a little wheel on the back of it, though, that doesn't seem very okay. This is mobile. I'm not sure. That don't seem right. No. Yeah. I might want to change that. Problem is, I'd have to change these pulleys too. Let's try some lube. A little bit in here. A little bit here. If I can get in there. Man, I can't really. That's not too bad. That's smoother than it was. See, the thing is, there's also supposed to be a spring from right here down to, well, let's see. Bug. Yeah, there's supposed to be a spring between these two to bring this back. I wonder what I can do with that. That is that's a little sus. I don't think that's going to work just right. These got springs on them like they're supposed to. They even got shoes on the brakes. That's kind of surprising. I don't think the brakes are necessarily lining up as they should. In fact, I'm sure they're not. That one is a bit way out of whack. Yeah, it's not going at all where it's supposed to. I don't know that I can bend it back. Yeah, that's not gonna go where it belongs, I don't think. This is bent, right? There's a thing on the bottom here. This fella right here. This brake is supposed to be parallel with, and it's not. It's supposed to be parallel with the edge of this. That's what it grabs to slow the blades down. They're not very effective. That one needs kinked up this way a little bit so that it hits that flat. It's hitting the bottom and not even touching up here. It's a little thing. It doesn't really matter that much. But it probably ought to have a little bit of work. Let me find some pliers or something. Lean on that a little bit. And I got to see if I can find a spring for that. I don't like this not having a spring. This piece up here is supposed to have a spring between there. Return spring, like to kick it out of gear when you shut it off. And without that, it's going to be kind of sticking in. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Let me see what I can find. Well, it turns out I had a parts deck back there. This one, this is the little surface we're talking about right here. It's nice and smooth. This one, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it is chewed to hell. And that's no bueno. That's not going to work. So we're going to have to get rid of that. This pulley's good. This one doesn't have that pulley. I've already robbed it for something else. So I'm going to take that pulley off and reutilize it on this other piece. Problem is, she's more than a little tough to get at. So I think I'm going to have to take this piece off first, which I'm going to have to do anyway, so no great loss there. Let me see if I can pop this loose. Yeah. It's got that. These two pieces out. There's several pieces. There's these two. This has a little doodad on it. You got to keep these organized too. Then there's this piece. Goes under there. It's pretty darn worn too. It ain't so hot. Now I got to get this off. Is this the same size? It is. All right. So what we need to do here is crack this off, put it on there. Let's do that first. This ratchety thing, this is going to be a devil to hang on to. Whoa. You need to get back in that square slot there. Okay. There. That's not going to be very nice. This is some kind of lock nut, but it's the squished kind. Instead of having a piece of plastic in the back, it's peened. It's got a dent in it there. I don't know if you can see it. No, you probably can't, but it's been crimped kind of make it extra tight. And that's fine. Except for when it ain't. Kind of a devil to get off. And what is all this nonsense? Some kind of, I don't know what. I don't know that I need that. No, I don't. I'm going to set that aside. Actually, no, that one's better than this one. Somehow. Okay, we're going to set that whole piece. Yeah, we'll bring a bolt to it. Why not? Use all of that. Now we take all of this off. Throw it aside. Okay. This goes from the back right here, like so. This goes on, and that little ear catches on this flat spot, keeps this from moving around. And that would appear to be where it belongs. Aren't many choices. Then you got this feller. He goes on next. Then you got this nut. It's going to be just as big a struggle to put back on as it was to take off. All right. And this is the good one. Always make sure you're not putting the same old bad parts back together. That thing really is tight, I gotta say. All right. And there it went again. Get back in that square hole. Can I put that flat on the ground or something and keep it in there? That'd be great. That's plenty tight. Smooth. All right, now this stuff. Now the fundamental thing with this stuff is you don't want this stuff to be rusty. This needs to smoothly move very freely. That's not what we got here. That's not what we got at all. And this piece is all kind of a pain right here. And that is confusing. Okay. So that goes here, like so. That's how it came off. And this, there, yeah. That's not so smooth either. I'm going to run the wire brush on this just a little bit. Try and clean it up some. I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to polish this up a little bit. Won't be much. Switch gears. Your wire brush has a tendency to start leaning one way, like you comb your hair. You got to lean it the other way, get the aggressive side going. Okay, that's pretty harsh anyway. It'll work. I'll give that a little squirt. Huh, I thought there was a ball in this that rattled. Come think of it, I'm pretty sure there is. But I ain't hearing it. This is silicone lubricant. It's a dry lubricant, I think. I mean, it goes on wet, but it dries. And my goal here is not to make a bunch of goop. Okay, this probably needs taken back to the grinder. That's really not bad there. Okay, so that's really not bad there either. It looks like it is, but the part that needs to not be bad is this right here. So, what we're going to do is get the bolt in. This on, that goes here. I can't begin to imagine how that stays where it belongs. This goes here. No, it doesn't. Here's my problem. This needs buffed right here. Find a place to hold it. That's better. Ooh. That's better. Better-ish. Okay. Now then, like I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself, this goes here. Like so. This has a bent pulley on it. Well, not a bent pulley, but a bent keeper. What's this one look like? They're both good. This one's fine. It's a little bent. Not too bad. Do I like one better than the other? This one has less rust. Let me polish it a little. Better. Okay, now these are the same. Yeah. This goes in here somehow. I can't even guess what keeps it there. I don't understand. And what actuates, well, So just what does this center off of? Hope? I don't understand. This is all very strange to me. Something makes that stay where you put it. What the hell could it be? This surely doesn't flop in the breeze. This does go here, I know. But how could it? How could it move? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, this piece goes in here, I know that. That's better. Now something stops this from going up. What would that be? What could possibly be stopping? Where's it hitting? Oh, there's a stop right there. Okay, good. Now this, explain this to me. Why would this ever stay where you put it? What possible thing would cause it to want to do that? I really don't understand. I'm gonna have to look at the picture. There's got to be something. Look at the witness marks on the old one. That's how it went. What do these things have in common here? What keeps this anywhere? There must be something. That's a mite confusing. I don't see anything that suggests to me what keeps that there. Not a thing. So where would you put it? How would you know where to? And once you've got it on there, what's to say it won't move? There's nothing stopping it. That's how it was, but I don't understand how it works. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. That is very confusing. Let me look at my pieces some more here. Okay, that's how it was in there. Here's this piece. Goes through that hole, and this piece goes on top of it. There is absolutely nothing that tells me where that goes. Nothing. Very strange. I wonder how you do that. I'm going to look that up. I'll be back in just a bit. Well, it turns out this is somewhat adjustable. It's meant to not have a reference point, apparently. So basically, you, if it's not tightening the belt or it's tightening too much, you can loosen this and move it slightly, very little, but you can move it slightly. This is now working smoother. It ain't perfect by any stretch. This little wheel on the back of this thing is non-functional, but it'll slide on it okay, I guess. This little wheel here is functional. It turns. I'd like that one to work, but good luck with that. I don't think it ever will. I want brake free here. Let me get the, what's it called? PB Blaster. Get some of that. I'm going to give it a little squirt that ain't probably going to help because I think it's too far gone. Oh yeah, I'm squirting it everywhere. Shot that all the way across the room. Okay, that's going to work. Spring. We're going to have problems there. Let's see what I can do. Well, I found a spring. Had to go to the store. It ain't the best, and I had to modify it a little bit, shorten it up. It should work. So basically, we're going to hook her in here. We're going to stretch him down and hook him in here. Good luck. Get in there. That might not be the easiest thing. There, she's in. That's still not. Of course, it ain't gonna hold. That's not enough spring. I wonder if I can't refinagle this a little bit. What exactly is preventing it from being pulled back up? Don't know. It's friction, obviously. Where's that friction coming from? I do not know. Well, oh, that belt will pull back on it, though. You just need something to return it there. I say we try it. I think it'll probably be all right, because this won't even go all the way. It's going to come down about so far and stop. It'll surely not go the full stroke and be tight at the same time. But it'll be most of the way. It'll be enough to release these brakes. That's the important thing. And for the belt to be tight. That's hard to believe. That spring ain't enough. I dare not go too strong, or this thing's not going to come back. It's going to... it'll be too hard to pull, break the cable. All right, so I'll buy a bunch of springs. I already modified that one. We're going to go with it, see what happens. All right, so for my next trick, I'm going to put this deck under the mower. I'll be back. Actually, we're going to put the belt on first. This belt is a very simple thing. Of course, if you've never done it before, you kind of look at it and scratch your head, but basically, it goes in this pulley here. Let's see if you're where you can see entirely. Let me back you up just a bit. All right, so it's in this pulley here. This piece, the back side of the belt, goes in this flat pulley. And that's pretty much done there. This goes across. All the way across. Over to here. Goes inside there. And then it loops all the way around that to right here. And it goes in that belt keeper. And that is the piece that goes on the front pulley on the engine. That's it. That's all there is to it. All right, I shall return. All right, well, that's got the deck back under it. And that should have it squared away. The only thing I'm left doing is waiting on the air cleaner. When that gets here, we will fire her up and see how she works. Well, the air filter came today. It's a two-piece contraption. You get this little foamy thing with a screen on one side, and you get this thing. Pretty simple deal here. You got a flipper, kind of like a toolbox. This just lifts right out as soon as you get it disconnected. This little screen part goes in this side. This piece goes in here. You wiggle it and jiggle it until it drops in the hole like it's supposed to. That's pretty much it. Now you gotta do is put the cover back on. Stick this in here back like it was. Good luck. I see that I might have to fight it a little. There. Make sure that's tucked in good. Get your little flipper, lock it down tight. That foam seals it around on the inside. That's it. She's ready to start and test, I do believe. Okay, well, you guys are going to find out the same time I do if this thing's going to start or not. I'll put it all the way up into choke. Give it the old crank. You know it helps if you turn the gas on. Well, I guess you know, apparently I don't. Let's just turn that gas on. There we go. I just realized that. And turn the key off for a minute and let this thing fill up for a bit. All right. And again with the choke. I believe that carburetor has a little bit of an idle jet issue we're going to have to work on. It's running kind of lean, probably a little cloggy. Didn't do that before, but who knows what dirt's in the bowl of that carburetor, and consequently in the idle jet. We're going to have to give it a spray, I guess. Alrighty, back to the drawing board. Deck works, though. Well, so I got to investigating a little bit, and I don't believe that this anti-backfire solenoid is working. Here's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to turn the key, and that little thing's supposed to just pop right in. And it makes a very loud, easy to hear click. So, when I'm plugged into this, set that one aside somewhere carefully. I don't know where though. Over here, I guess. So when I plug this in, you can hit it, and I hold it, and I turn it, I get nothing. Don't feel anything, don't hear anything. Bad sign. So it's very possible the reason this thing acted like it was running lean, I thought it was the idle jet clog, but I think it's that now. So we're going to pull that out of there. And since we don't want gas everywhere, I got my handy dandy cottage cheese tub to catch that. Let's see if we can get that thing out of there. This takes a 1/2-inch wrench on the factory part. Let me get this up. Figure out how to do that and get my fingers out of the way at the same time. I'm going to pull this out. Oh, drop it. And then move and pour all the gas on the ground. Anyway, nice. Oh, that's a good sign. Your urine sample's a little chunky. I think what we're going to do is put this back in here and turn the gas back on. Rinse that out just a little bit. All right. That's good. Didn't get any worse. And truthfully, that could have fell off of this part when I dropped it. It isn't the cleanest. There should be a washer here. Good luck getting it off of there, but there should be one. I feel it, I think. I hate to reuse it, but that may be the case. It's not on this piece. That ain't a washer. Let me duck under this thing and look. I think it's got one. No. I mean, I know it's supposed to have one. Do I see? Oh, yeah, that's almost certainly a washer right there. And it is stuck. I don't think I have a razor knife or anything in here to try and catch a hold of that. Let me poke through my stuff real quick. If I don't find something fast. I'll go find something slow. I got a screwdriver, crowbar. I don't think a crowbar would do it, but at least it's got, yeah, it might. It's got a sharp enough edge. Now, when I say crowbar, I ain't talking about a big one. It's just a wee little crowbar. Let's see if I can get a hold of that. Yep, there she is. Okay, dead soft aluminum. Now, I'm going to take this new one, this little washer that's new that came with it. Put that washer on there. Oh yeah, well that one don't work because somebody's removed the guts. Okay, so that's probably not our problem. Interesting that someone did that, but explains a lot. So before I even install that, we're just going to pause right there. It is probably the idle jet clogged. I could pry this thing off, back it out and clean it, put it back on, hopefully without taking the carburetor off. Let's try that first. All right, let me get some tools together. I have decided, and what I have decided is I'm just going to go ahead and change that carburetor. I've got a new carburetor here of the highest quality Chinese variety. We're going to try that. Let's see if that's 5/16. It is. Let's see if that's 7/16. It is. Uh-oh. I need a 3/8. Oh, I got a 3/8 wrench. We'll just call that good enough. All right, so let's start at the beginning. I really ought to take that cover off. And I don't even have to fool with the air cleaner to do that. So let me just go ahead and get this. I'm going to buzz this cover off, take this carburetor off, and go from there. All right, I'll be back. Now, you might be asking yourself, why doesn't he clean that carburetor? What possible reason could he have for not cleaning the carburetor that exists? And the reasoning behind that is quite simple. And what that is because this carburetor has a big plastic piece in the bottom with a gasket that's more of an O-ring that goes all over the place. It's got like 20 holes in it. And again, as I've stated previously, carburetor's cheaper than the kit. And the chances of fouling up this kit are really good. You'll have leaks and it's just a mess. It does not work. Not like it should. I better get that bucket because there's going to be gas. And I'm probably going to drop this again. Let me get that. Turn around and get a hold of it. There it goes. All right. Well, that rinsed it out again. A little bit of water in that. I'm not surprised. That gas has been in there a while, I'm sure. All right. So we need to take carburetor off. Squeeze clamps. That's going to require pliers. You know, I'm going to learn someday to bring all the tools I need first. Luckily, I've got them all over here. There's the pliers. All right. Let's give that clamp a squeeze and retreat. That hose a squeeze and wiggle. Now, take that fuel line off of there. There won't be much gas in that, but I'm going to go ahead and dump it out. And I need to hook this somewhere where I won't see it again until I need it. That's good. Okay. Now, this one is sealed with the carburetor as a unit. I was having trouble with it on a previous mower, and then I just went a different way and fixed it. I'm going to go ahead and put this solenoid in here while I'm thinking of it. Screw that right on in. And Well, I had a wrench. Naturally, I don't anymore. But what I lack in wrench, I make up for in pliers. If I can get a hold of it with the pliers. And I can't. Of course, there's the wrench under me. Okay. Put the wrench on there, and it's the wrong wrench, too. This is the 1/2 inch, but the Chinese version's 12 millimeter. It's okay, it still worked. Now, all I gotta do, take one off, put one on. Really very simple. Should be exactly the same. Yeah, I believe so. Okay. So, rather than do a whole lot of fighting with this, we're just going to unhook this little spring up top. That's got that. This choke lever will just come straight out of the hole. So all I really got to do is pull these 2 bolts and carefully unhitch this when I get it loose. And drop that particular bolt there on the ground. Let me put them up here somewhere out of the way. See if these come loose easy. That one did. That one's a struggle, I see. Yeah. Well, it's one of the wrenches I took off with. Oh, look at there. I got the one size fits everything wrench. All right. Get the bolts out. If I can keep out of the way of the camera. Probably can't. I'm just going to change this whole piece. I took this needle off and blew it out. I blew out the jet. It didn't help. This thing's hard locked. It's got junk in it somewhere that you could probably get out with an ultrasonic. But then you're back to the same problem that I was talking about previously. And that is, this piece here. Come off for the moment anyway. Now I just got to twist this around in such a way. Let's get the choke out. Okay, choke's out. Now I got to unhook this, which is about to happen. Just got to wiggle gently. There, it's out. Now, I'm going to change this piece in a second. Let's get the main portion first. So, installation's the opposite of removal. We got this feller here. He is pushed to open, or to close. So this must go in this hole. But not like that. Probably like that. Looks good to me. All right, so we're just going to let that hang for a second. We're going to put this in. That should be easy enough. You just kind of walk that right in the hole. Get this little spring. That's actually important. Keep it from surging. That takes, all it really does is takes up the slack in this throttle cable because it would flop around just a little bit without it, and the spring keeps it tight. Now this, there's a spot this goes. Where is that spot? Right there. Can't see it from here, but it's there. There's a little slot right there. Now this is all done. This just needs bolted on right there. Piece of cake. So you get your bolt. Tighten that up. Get this bolt. Wiggle this around until they line up. About there. Tighten that up. All right, I'll be back in just a second. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt that down. I wonder if y'all caught that, because I just did before I even got anything tightened up, really. This takes an O-ring. It's a silicone O-ring. so that it won't melt because it's right on the head. And this also takes one. The difference between the two being this one ain't got one in it. And that would have been an intake leak, and I'd been chasing my tail for a month trying to figure it out. But might have one anyway. These things, this plastic intake, is about the worst invention they ever made. Well, it goes in there, and I've got to be right in a way to do it. So there's only one way. Got to get myself in a position that I can reach it and put it in there. All right. There's a little slot all the way around it fits in. Makes things a lot easier, really, if it'll stay there. That's another problem, getting them to stay there. They don't cooperate as well as you'd hope. There's little points built into this slot that this flat O-ring thing goes in that are meant to keep it in place. They are less effective than one might hope for. Well, it's almost good. I'm having trouble with this side for some reason. Okay, I think that's got it. Get this up against the hole where it belongs. It is jamming me up. There. That don't. Yeah, it fell out. Now we're going to have this problem, and that's normal. I have to tuck that back in there again. I don't know why it don't want to stay in this one spot. There, okay. That right there. Don't let it move. And get some bolts in it. That's one. That's the other. Now I gotta hold that against there, keep that in its track so it don't jump out of that slot. Tighten this all the way down. And drop a bolt. Seems to be what I'm best at today. 3/8. Oh, what luck. Could have had that wrench the wrong way, but I got lucky. All right. Tightening this, you really do have to be careful. You can give it a little and stop. You can't just wrench it down like you mean to murder it, because all that's going to happen is you'll murder it. You will have major leaks. That's good. Okay. Get that bolt I dropped. That's for the cover. This is back on there good. That's on there good. We can get this on now. All right, I'm going to put this cover back on. Good luck. Yeah. And I got to hit this just right. That seems to be good. Okay. I think I'm in there. Yeah. All right, I'm going to bolt this cover back on. We'll try it again. All right. Oh my. Turn the gas on. Going to hook this up. Wait for it to pour out. Not seeing that yet. Got that little hose in the back on, yeah? Okay, everything's tight. So we should be, once that's run just a little longer, I want to be sure I got gas in it. I'm going to try it again. See how it runs this time. Maybe less hiccups. All right, clutch in. Well, that solenoid's clicking good. That was fast. Choke it. tell you, I gotta tell you, it don't seem quite the way I'd want it. Well, well, well. That water and that gas is causing some problems. I think that's what that misfiring is. It's there's enough water in the gas. I think that it's hitting and missing. He's going to run that out of there. We'll see how that is. But basically, I believe we got her running now without all the super surging. It ain't sounding great, but as much water as was in that gas that I just dumped out of the bowl. I mean, look at this thing. I don't know if you can see inside there, but the gas, it ain't the greatest. It's kind of orange, and undoubtedly there's condensation in it. You get this thing home and fill it up with gas and go mow the lawn with it. Does seem to maintain power under power when you turn the deck on. It's got the gump, so it'll be all right. It needs run now. I checked the oil when we first got it. It was full up and good looking oil. So there ain't a reason in the world why he can't take this out and go with it. I believe that's what I'm going to tell him to do. I believe I've saved him all the money I can on this thing. It ain't much, but it's running. All right, guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a bunch. And thanks for watching. We'll see you later.